We've hit the road and head up to Wellesley to the Sprague Fields for playoff baseball. It's the South D4 quarterfinals next on Fred TV. Hello again, everybody. I'm Evan Massoud. Thanks for tuning in as we have more MIAA state tournament coverage for you right here on Channel 9. This is a rematch from last year's South semis in Division 1. Wellesley came out on top in that one, eliminating Durfee 7-6 in 9 innings, a game that many Hilltopper fans thought that they should have won. Some questionable calls, but hey, that's how it goes when you don't have replay. It's the call on the field that counts. That's in the past. It's a whole new season. Durfee took their round 1 game against Taunton on the road to get into this game against Wellesley. The Warriors, after beating Durfee last year, went on to the state finals where they fell to Taconic 5-1 in that final game. So Wellesley's no slouch, and Durfee trying to have a Cinderella season once again, coming on strong in the latter half and into the playoffs. This is going to be a great rematch. We hope that you stick around for all the action next on Fred TV. Warriors getting warmed up here. Starter Jay Driver on the mound for Wellesley this afternoon. Has some good stuff. Taking a look at his warm-up pitches there. That was the last one. As we're just about ready to get things started here at the Sprague Fields. Evan Massoud with you here on Fred TV for the South quarterfinals in Division 1 baseball in the MIAA state tournament. And as a treat for you folks, we've mic'd up our cameraman Gary Leet this afternoon too. So you may hear a few analytical comments from Gary as well from behind the lens, which is always fun. Makes it a lot better than just me talking the whole time for sure.
Oh, I thought you were going with the Vin Scully career pathway of broadcasting.
There's Gary for you. Vin Scully, a legend, but I still prefer to have a conversation. That's just me. So, before first pitch, this from the MIAA. A well-rounded education is one that is not only academically oriented, but one that also includes physical, social, and emotional development. Interscholastic athletics provide the other half of education. The MIAA encourages you to support your local high school athletic teams throughout the school year and through the postseason. Matt Saunders will lead it off for the Hilltoppers, hitting .273, 6 RBI on the year, and he looks at strike 1 from Driver. Hilltoppers with an upset victory in round 1 at Taunton, 7-6, kind of a wild game, and in the end, Durfee able to hold off the Tigers' surge. Taunton made a game out of it, 1-run game, but Durfee was able to nail it down. And quick work of Saunders. He's down on strikes to begin the ball game. That's going to bring up the DH, Brett Fonseca. .382 average on the year, a home run, 3 RBI. On deck is Nate Ladera, the second baseman. We'll continue with the order here after the first pitch to Fonseca, down low for a ball. Zach Souza, the catcher, in the cleanup spot, followed by Remy Dumont in right field. Remy's hitting .465, and he's had about the average number of at-bats, so Remy having a great year. Lucas Souza, the third baseman, bats 6th. Tommy Lambert in left field, batting 7th, followed by Curtis Perry, the first baseman, and Ethan Ferreira, who will be the starter for today, batting 9th for the Hilltoppers. There's a strike. Defensively, the Warriors shake up like this. In the infield, Lieberman, Grocki, Mayona, and Zajac, third, short, second, and first. In the outfield, left to right, Blasco, Chilfie, and Wecker. That's hit in the air to left, skied down the line. This could get out of play with the fans. No, just there. Blasco, it stays in play for him. 2 down in the first. Fletcher doing the catching for Driver today for the Warriors. And we'll see Nate Ladera with 2 out, nobody on. Took the Hilltoppers to the 3rd inning to break the ice at Taunton. They put up 3 runs in that 3rd, and then Taunton came back and answered with 3. That was the start of the offense for that afternoon. Swung on and missed at the first offering there. Good breaking ball from Driver. Looking at the bracket here, Wellesley beat Natick 3-1. Natick the 14 seed, so that was a close matchup for round one. Big differential there. Wellesley seeded third, Natick 14th. But that was a really good first round matchup. 3-1 the final, so that's what put Wellesley into this game. Again, Durfee beating Taunton. Durfee 11th, Taunton 6th. And Durfee coming out on top in round one, 7-6 in that one. And of course, again, if you missed the Open, this is a rematch from last year's South semis, which were held out in Quincy on neutral turf. Grounder up the middle and ranging, nice snag. Throw to first is going to be just off the mark. It pulled Zajic off the bag, but Grocky with a heck of a play there. I thought that was going to get through. It's an infield single for Ladera. That game last year, though, the South semis was a heck of a game, a 7-6 score in 9 innings. Wellesley came out on top in that one, walked off with the win. They ended up making it all the way to the state finals. And much of the team is back, looking up and down the lineup for the Warriors, which we'll get to shortly. Many familiar names as Zach Souza steps in and swings at the first pitch. He had a 2-run home run in last year's South semis against Wellesley. He's got a man on with 2 down. Looking to cash in here against Driver in the first inning. And he swings and misses there. Kind of a half-hearted swing. That one dipping down low and out of the zone. Looked to be maybe a changeup. And he's in an 0-2 hole. Driver trying to work around a 2-out infield single from Ladera. The 0-2 pitch is popped up. Ranging over is Myona. And the second baseman makes a catch for the Warriors. It's the Hilltoppers strand a base runner in the first inning. So 1 hit, 1 left on, and Souza with the pop out to second base for out number 3. We'll turn that lineup card over here, and we'll get you the Warriors starting 9. And it looks like this. So leading off for the Warriors this afternoon will be the center fielder, John Cholfie, followed by the second baseman, Matt Myona, who just made that play. Henry Wecker, the right fielder, bats third, and in the cleanup spot, Kai Grocky, the shortstop. Max Zajic will be batting fifth at first base, followed by left fielder Colin Blasco. Catching is Holt Fletcher, batting seventh, followed by the pitcher Jay Driver in the 8th spot. And rounding things off is Tommy Lieberman, the third baseman, batting ninth. The Warriors are led by head coach Rob Kane. He's in his 12th year. Of course, Durfee led by coach Dave Olmschneider in his 4th year. And Ethan Ferreira on the hill for the Hilltoppers. Let's take a look at their defense in the infield from third to first. Souza, Arrieta, Ladera, and Perry. And in the outfield left to right, Lambert, Saunders, and Dumont, with Zach Souza doing the catching for Ferreira. Ferreira has looked good. He's pitched 17 and 2/3 innings, only has a 1.19 ERA. So really keeping the hitters and keeping the runners from crossing the plate. That's what you want to do as a starter. 4 walks and 12 Ks in that 17 and 2/3, a 1-1 record for Ferreira. And Ferreira is not a guy that's going to overpower you. He works more with control and kind of finesse, if you will. Not a power pitcher. He's got good stuff. Caught a 1-hit game a couple weeks ago. It was a Saturday makeup game, and it was a shutout. Came out on top on that one. And so Ethan's had a pretty good year here. He'll look to carry the Hilltoppers on his shoulders today from the mound.
So, Evan, I'm battling a severe case of the allergies here in Would this be called Central Massachusetts, or is this
No, let's say Metro West.
Metro West? Everybody wants to be Metro West.
Very desirable. I mean, we got Needham, Wellesley, Newton. This is a nice area. Nice area.
A lot of grass, a lot of pollen.
Oh, I hear you, Gary, and I'm surprised it's not bothering me too, because I have the same issues with these seasonal allergies. I was hoping all that rain, some of the rain we got last week, washed a lot of it away, but I think it's made it worse. I washed my car. It was a mess. I took it to the car wash, and within 3 hours, it was worse than before.
That was the first question I was going to ask, is what about the car?
Yeah, not liking it right now. That's for sure. And ball one to the leadoff man, John Cholfie. Uniforms very similar here, but the Wellesley Warriors, one of the differentials, they have the camouflage on the sleeves and the white pants. Durfee with all black jerseys and gray pants. So that's going to be kind of the difference for you, but very similar looking jerseys. And strike two drops in there. One-two from Ferreira. Downstairs. Good job from Cholfie to lay off that. Breaking ball bouncing in just in front of the plate. Just a great day, though, for baseball. 70 degrees here. Bone dry up in Wellesley. And nary a cloud in the sky. Just fantastic. This is baseball weather. Slight breeze coming in from right center. But very minuscule, not much of a wind, just a couple little breezes passing by. Full count to Cholfie. There's a payoff from Ferreira. Sliced back and out of play to the backstop. It's a quality fence right there. Stop that one from hitting anybody. Number of, looks like students here hanging on the fence from Wellesley, catching some of the action today. Cholfie was down 1-2, worked it back full, and now going to work a leadoff walk. So the Warriors get their leadoff man on base to start the ball game. Matt Maiona will step in for his first AB. And a check on the runner right out of the gate there. Hilltoppers come in at 12-9. That includes their playoff win on Thursday against Taunton, and Wellesley, including their playoff win, are 16-5. There's a bunt. That's a beauty. Souza coming to play it, and the throw to first is in time. They got him at first. Nice play from Souza, but it does get the runner to second, which is what they wanted. So good baseball all around right there. Nice bunt from Maiona. And an even better play there from Souza to get the runner. So one down, Henry Wecker.
Intentional walk.
Yeah, they're putting on Wecker. How about that? Guess they were afraid of Wecker, so he's at first with the intentional pass. Don't ever see that in high school. I can't remember the last time we saw that in high school. So it's going to bring up Kai Grocke, the cleanup hitter. So they're hoping for a double play ball here. Ooh, showing bunt, pulls it back. That one was sailing up and in. Bit of a late arriving crowd, but a nice contingency of fans for both sides here, kind of lining the whole ballpark. You see some out in center, some are down the foul lines. There's a strike taken as he pulled the bunt back. Tough to bunt on those down and away pitches, but if you can nail that strike zone, kind of a double whammy. You get the hitter to pull back, and then you get the called strike. Squaring this time, not messing around. The 1-1 pitch coming from Ferreira. And that one is dropped down, and Ferreira ranges and fields, throws to first for the out. That puts 2 in scoring position, though, with 2 down. I like the small ball.
Very interesting to see your cleanup hitter bunt.
Yeah.
Sacrifice bunt first inning.
Not something that you normally would see.
But it does put 2 runners in scoring position. Bottom of the first.
Max Zajac, the first baseman. A lefty coming in to hit. A base hit would score 2, and I guess that's the thinking of Coach Kane. But to your point, Gary, I mean, when's the last time you see a cleanup hitter squaring around and not messing around, but totally committed to bunting?
Yeah, that 1-1 pitch. He just squared up.
Yeah.
I don't know if Durfee wasn't buying it. They didn't bring the corners in or anything like that because they figured we'll take the out.
Yeah.
But then you ask yourself, why do you intentionally walk?
Yeah, of course. That's another question. I mean, you know, I could see Souza still playing back, not coming in from the corners, because the hope is that if it went down to first or went straight to Ferreira, he could throw and get the force out at third. That is pop foul going out of play. So I can understand Souza not coming in. But I thought maybe Perry might have cheated in a little bit. But you're right. Maybe they weren't buying it. Maybe they thought, hey, it's a cleanup hitter. He's just messing with us. Needless to say, though, 2 good bunts put down by the Warriors. 2 good sack bunts in this first inning. And they're in really good position to strike first here. That's a strike. Ooh, a little bit of a delayed call there from our man in blue. Almost like he had to think about it, but that one drops in for strike 2. Well, Ferreira works it back here, 1 strike away from escaping any trouble in the first inning. Here's the 2-2. Grounder back, and that is going to get through the middle. Ladera gave up on it, and 2 runs are coming home. 2-run single for Zajac. It's a 2-0 lead for the Warriors. I do not know what happened there. Maybe Ladera thought it was already past him. I mean, you know, we have a tough vantage point, Gary, but looked like he wanted to stick the glove out, and he just kind of gave up on it.
Yeah, you wonder if he thought maybe it already passed him.
Or either that, I know that Arrieta was breaking towards it as well, and maybe he figured, well, we'll let Arrieta get it because he's moving towards first. He doesn't have to spin and throw, right? But Arrieta wasn't really that close to it. That looked like it was Ladera's ball. So the sacrifice bunt works. And the 2 walks come back to bite the Hilltoppers. The unintentional and intentional. So there you go, free passes. And, you know, that's what happened last year, too. Wellesley cashed in on quite a few walks that were handed out by Durfee pitching in that South Semis in 2017. And right there, 2 walks, 2 runs scored here in the first.
And it was also a couple of infield blunders.
Yes, there were some errors, too. I mean, it wasn't Durfee's cleanest game, and yet they still only lost by that 1 run. I mean, they had the lead. They came back and tied it in the 7th as well after being down. So that is popped up down the first base line. Perry ranging over. Does he have room? And it falls on the berm in front of the spectators.
Now, how far would they be allowed to go into the crowd without a fence out there?
So there actually is, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is a boundary line, and it runs from the fence, and then it runs around the flowers and the tree down that line. So there is boundaries. That's why he reached with the glove. If he couldn't step out of bounds. If he was able to reach it and make that catch, it would have counted. That's driven in the air to center, kind of a lazy fly ball. Saunders coming back in. He gets a read on it and puts it away there for out number 3. However, the Warriors strike first in the first, lead it 2-0 here in the quarterfinals. Top of the second about to begin here. We'll see 5, 6, and 7 of the Hilltoppers lineup. Remy Dumont will lead things off for Durfee. 465 average, a home run, and 9 RBI. And Remy having a really good year at the plate for Durfee in his senior year campaign. When they say he punched at that, that was close. That was a close call. And it didn't appear they asked for any help either. Home plate umpire making the call. Slider upstairs, little breaking ball. Missing for ball 1, so 1-1 the count. Foul back and out of play. Good hack from Dumont, and it's 1-2. So the Hilltoppers playing catch-up here right out of the gate after surrendering 2 runs with 2 down in the first. It's one of those situations where you want to kind of cash in early if you can and maybe push a run or 2 across and at least chip away or maybe tie it back up. Don't let driver get too settled in there. Otherwise, it could be a long afternoon. Driver's got some good stuff, at least for what we're seeing so far. Good bite on the breaking ball and really good velocity. Uses his legs and his whole body when pitching, and that gives you always, an extra mile an hour or 2. And it actually can protect your arm as well when you're using your whole body. So that's a good thing. That's how you want to pitch. Popped up, and that's coming back behind us.
I cannot turn the camera around like that with all the wires coming out of it, Evan. But it did get over the fence.
Oh, yeah. Well over the fence. About probably 20 feet behind us or so. That ball had that was a dead ball. That thing landed on the cement, and there wasn't a bounce at all. That thing totally died. And that is going to get down, and it gets past Wecker. Tried to go into a hook slide. Dumont has some wheels. Man, kid can fly. Dumont to second easily there. He got down the line in a hurry. Nice piece of hitting from Remy. Taking it the other way for, I'll call it a leadoff double. The ball actually did drop. It didn't hit off the glove. That was kind of a trapper, and then it got by. So we'll give him a double on that one. Brings up Lucas Souza. 318 average, 9 RBI. I mean, looking up and down the lineup here, the average batting average really is like, well into the 3s. It's just a matter of, the Hilltoppers, sometimes they go cold as a team. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of consistency. Dumont will take off for third. The throw is not in time. In a cloud of dust, Remy emerges like a phoenix. How's that one for you?
I've heard Remy called a lot of things, but not a phoenix.
So a wild pitch gets Dumont over to third base with nobody out. Perfect opportunity for the Hilltoppers to chip away. A grounder up the middle from Souza. And Dumont does not come home. And now Coach Olmschneider talking to him. That is a costly base running error right there. That's a surefire run.
With the ball going up the middle and the shortstop having to field it himself, yeah, I think that would have been the first run for Durfee.
Anytime the shortstop has to go to his left, if it's hit to the left side of the infield, you can score on that. That's just baseball fundamentals 101 right there. So very surprising that Remy did not come plateward. Brings up Tommy Lambert to the plate. 375, 2 RBI. Grounder to the left side. Dumont breaking this time. Arrieta, that was Grocky, pardon me, not Arrieta, Grocky. Fletcher chasing Dumont down, but the call was safe. So Dumont does score, and that time Grocky came home. And he almost got him, too. That was a really good throw.
Making us question everything we've ever learned about
I know, seriously. cleanup hitter bunting. Two walks and 2 bunts in the first inning, and that his 2 runs on the board. Remy doesn't score on a ball up the middle, does score on a ball to the left side of the infield. Who the heck knows, right? So, I mean, seriously. This has the makings to be one of those days where weird things are going to happen. So Lambert gets the infield single and the RBI for the Hilltoppers. And it's a 2-1 ball game. Curtis Perry, first baseman, stepping in. He's batting 8th, 208 average with 2 runs batted in. That one middle in, called strike. I will say this, credit Remy for quickly reading that wild pitch as well, because this field is dusty. Be able to see that ball and get over to third. That allowed the run to come home. Fletcher's throw not in time, going to the outfield, but not too far. Lambert with a stolen base. Tommy's into second here with 1 down. And seriously, if Remy doesn't get over to third, that grounder up the middle, he wouldn't have gotten a third then, so he doesn't score. So good heads-up base running the first time. You know, Gary, I guess it pays off because Tommy wouldn't have gotten a first. Right? Everything happens for a reason, I guess. That one went back behind us. Think about it. So if Remy did score on the ground ball out from Souza, Tommy comes up. That's just a simple, it did be 2 down, nobody on right now. Instead, 1 out and a runner at the tying run at second.
Wacky stuff.
That's why baseball's fun. You just never know. I mean, it's such a simple game. But every pitch, I mean, you're purposely putting the ball in play. It's just, and you never know what's going to happen. Perry looking for a way to move the runner over. Instead, down on strike. Second strikeout for Driver, and there are 2 down. Going to bring up Ethan Ferreira. Ethan with 5 RBI, but hitting just a $176 on the season. And the Hilltopper starting pitcher can help himself out with a base hit here. It would surely drive home a run. So Lambert at second, Ferreira at the plate with 2 down. Now Lambert going to be at third. Another wild pitch for Driver. That's the second one in the inning. And that makes it a little easier. Ferreira's just got to connect. Base hit's an automatic run. And let's just say, too, anything in the infield, Ferreira's got some wheels, too. Pretty quick down the line. Corner playing in. That's Lieberman. And a called strike, 1-1. Yeah, Lieberman playing in, trying to hold the runner on a little bit, too, but definitely playing in, more in than normal. Same with Zajac, maybe a couple steps towards the grass. Ferreira with a good hack, and he's down 1-2. Big pitch for Driver as he's back to the windup with the runner at third. 1-2 pitch. Just down and away there, close pitch. Good eye from Ferreira to lay off of that. That's a pitch that is always tough and always looks good to hit when it's coming out of the hand. Popped up, coming back and out of play.
That one had a little bounce to it.
Yeah. So Ferreira fighting to stay alive here.
How important do you think it is that they get the second run in?
Well, it makes it a whole new ball game, and it shows you can answer immediately. You know, 2-1 right now. Ferreira with a pop-up, and that should end the inning as Zajac is under it in foul ground to make the catch for the third out. But the Hilltoppers do get one back, which in itself I think is big. So Durfee answering and getting one back here in the top of the second. They strand Lambert. They strand him over at third base. 2 hits for Durfee. No errors, and a runner left on as Ferreira popped out to 3. So now even more importantly, though, Gary, I would say is, Hilltoppers just cut it back to a 1-run game. Now they don't give up any more runs here in the second. Let's have a quick shutdown inning and get the offense back out. Because now, when we come back in the top of the third and we're turning the lineup back over, we'll be back to the top of the order for Durfee. So I think even more important is see how Ferreira can do here and kind of shut down Wellesley here in the second inning. They sent 6 men to the plate in the first. And again, the 2 free passes ended up coming back to scoring. Mm-hmm. So
but this is the type of game that it was last year. Tight.
Oh, yeah.
Little things made a huge difference. You had the wild pitch in the bottom this past half inning. Cost them a run.
Yeah, of course.
So we'll have to see. I don't think Wellesley has a lot of big bats. Durfee, we got Souza.
Yeah, I'd like to see Zach send one. But I'll tell you one thing: the dimensions. This is a big field, and now you're seeing folk on the lens. It may be a little bit kind of an illusion for you. The brick wall and the trees, that is not the boundary. There's actually a temporary fence, about a 3-foot fence, that is actually brought in. So there is a boundary, but it's still, this is a big field. This is probably, I want to say, about the same size as Skip Lewis Field back at Durfee, which is no slouch either. Skip Lewis Field is pretty big.
Did you take your customary walk around the warning track? I know you like to do that before games. Get a feel for the grass.
No. No. Well, I don't usually do that at Durfee because left field's usually underwater. So, it's kind of difficult, unless I bring my flippers. Left field at Durfee is usually underwater, so I usually steer clear. I stay around home plate. That's where the teams are. That's where the coaches are. That's where the action is. So another bunt. The catcher Holt Fletcher putting it down, and he is out at first base. Good play by Ferreira. My goodness, they're testing the defense of the infield here. That's the 3rd bunt put down by the Warriors in an inning and a third.
That one was a little bit closer than one would hope.
Yeah. The ball just it died. It landed in the dirt there in the hitter's circle there, just in front of the batter's box. It didn't make it to the grass. And a lot of times the dirt can be soft and just totally deaden the ball. And that's exactly what happened there. So 1 down, Jay Driver, the pitcher, at the plate. You see, like that's a big first out there. I mean, you get the catcher who isn't the fastest guy. Oh, Souza with the catch. He held on to it. Diving to his left. Letting us know why they call it the hot corner. What a play from Lucas Souza at third.
That was a huge play.
Oh, yeah, that would have been 2 bases. But instead, a loud out.
There was a couple of balls in warm-ups where he missed grounders.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he got those out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they say, when there's a foul in basketball and you hear the whistle and play stop, you just throw it up anyway and then you make it. You say, darn, I should have saved that one for the game. So next time you go, you're going to miss it, right? So 2 down. Tommy Lieberman, the third baseman, at the plate. Leadoff man John Cholfie on deck if Lieberman can get on here with 2 down. Waves and misses at a curveball. Really good breaking ball from Ferreira, kind of 12-6 motion there. And Ethan in control of the at-bat, 1-2 the count. Looking for his first strikeout of the afternoon. Driver for the Warriors already with 2. That one missing down low. Nice job by Lieberman to lay off of it, because that was pitch looked good and then it just dropped off the table. Strike 3 called, and that'll do it for the second inning. A 1-2-3 inning with some good defense and a strikeout. 2-1 Warriors after 2. More than 200,000 students will participate in approximately 100,000 high school sport competitions among the MIAA's 360 member schools this year. The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association encourages you to support your local high school athletic programs and the students who participate in them. Evan Massoud and Gary Leet with you on Fred TV for the South D1 quarterfinals, top of the third inning. About to get going here, Durfee's top of the lineup. Back up, Matt Saunders, and a little blooper. That's going to fall in, and it's going to be a hit. Saunders on to start off the inning. Another weird base hit, got completely jammed. We saw Lieberman kind of look up, took his eye off the ball, and he missed it. Probably should go as an error. There's a 2-1 score. Hilltoppers got one back in the top of the second. A 1-2-3 inning for Ferreira in the bottom of the second, and now back up to hit are the Hilltoppers. Swinging at that first pitch is Fonseca. Good, healthy cut. Again, Fonseca hitting about 280. Does have a home run on the year, 3 RBI. Saunders at first has really good speed. Swung on and missed that time. So 2 really good hacks, but only a foul ball and a swing through to show for it. So down 0-2. Outside for a ball. Driver bringing the heat here. That fastball had some bite on it. Saunders takes his lead, now waiting around. Wow, I was ready to call strike 3. I thought that pitch was in there. Never mind the check swing. What do you think, Gary? That looked like a darn good pitch.
I thought it was a check swing. I don't see how an umpire from second base can tell that, though.
No, he really can't, and there's strike 3 called that time. No, yeah, the calling from second base is like, you might as well just call it yourself from behind the plate. You're right there. So I agree with you there. But this strike 3 on Fonseca, you got called out. Third strikeout for driver, Nate Ladera. Stepping in now, who is 1 for 1 with an infield single. Looks at a strike. That's a dangerous spot to a lefty, though, living down there, middle in, a little bit down with the fastball. That's the sweet spot for left-handed hitters. Driver working quickly with a man on base. Taking off for second. The throw down is not going to be in time. And Saunders with the stolen base. Second stolen base for the Hilltoppers this afternoon. And now in scoring position with 1 down. And if Ladera can't get a hit, at least like to see something pulled to the right side of the infield and get Saunders to third with Souza on deck. Gonna check on him. They throw it into center field. But Cholfi was quickly breaking in, so Saunders unable to get to third. Now Grocky and driver, shortstop and pitcher chatting. Maybe a little bit of mixed signals there. Wanting to make sure they know who's covering the bag. With the left-handed hitter should be Grocky. Ladera takes it the other way. It's going to stay up, and Saunders took off. And another base-running blunder for the Hilltoppers will end the inning. So a line out to left field, and Saunders doubled off. 7-6, the double play there.
Got to wonder if he thought it was 2 outs or if he thought he was going to drop in.
No idea, but this is the stuff we're talking about in terms of like being aware of what's going on. You know, a sudden death playoff game, you got to be focused, and we've seen a few base running errors already from the Hilltoppers. And what hurts more with that is you would have had a runner on with Souza coming up with 2 down. So now Zach's going to start the inning with no chance to drive anybody in. He'll have nobody on. So you kind of lost a good opportunity right there if you're the Hilltoppers.
You don't want to squander those because we saw what happened last year.
Yeah, exactly. So Durfee with the goose egg in the top of the 3rd. The double play to end that inning.
Yeah, it's disappointing he couldn't get another run.
I mean, you get the leadoff man on there, so that's always a good start. But got to be focused and got to remember where you're at in the ball game.
Especially in a field like this, because we have no scoreboard.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll tell you right now, 2-1 as we head into the bottom of the 3rd. Last warm-up pitch for Ferreira coming up. It'll be the top of the lineup for the Warriors. John Cholfie will lead it off. Reached on a leadoff walk and scored in the 1st. Ferreira with a 1-2-3 second inning. But again, the lineup turning over here. Everybody getting their second look now at Ferreira.
Do you think they continue with the small ball throwing the bunt out there?
Quite honestly, I have no idea because that's a complete opposite of what we saw last year in the playoffs. I do not remember seeing this many bunts from Wellesley, and this is only in 2 innings played. So kind of surprised. But, I mean, again, you know, to me, I'm never against small ball because I think that the pros should even do it more often. And I credit Coach Kane for recognizing that, hey, it's a playoff game. If we can squeeze a run across because we got the guy over to second base and gave up an out for it, then why not? And that's what ended up happening. A walk, a sac bunt, an intentional walk, a sac bunt, and then a seeing eye single, little garbage chopper up the middle, and just like that, you got a 2-0 lead in the 1st inning, and you look like a genius as a coach. I mean, to be fair to the Hilltoppers, I mean, the hit from Zajac was not hit hard. I mean, it just got through the middle. So, it is what it is. But the fact is, the runners were in scoring position to get home. Close pitch, not going Ferreira's way, and Cholfie has earned a walk once again. So 2 straight plate appearances, 2 straight walks. And now we will see if Maiona will drop the sac bunt down. Here's an interesting stat for you.
You've already got one? It's
Oh, yeah.
3rd inning.
I know, but it is. So officially, hitters 1 through 4 have no official at-bats. How about that?
That is a tidbit of information.
Cholfie has had 2 plate appearances, but a walk does not count as an at-bat. Maiona gave up his at-bat with the sac bunt. Wecker, an intentional walk, did not have an official at-bat. Grocky gave up his at-bat with a sac bunt. So hitters 1 through 4 have come to the plate 5 times. This is now the 6th. And so far, no official at bat to record. See Mayona at home plate, still waiting for another pitch. Wearing the old vintage stirrups.
I almost forgot to continue working the camera because I just love seeing the stirrups. Another bunt.
Another bunt. And this could be an infield hit. Oh, they got him again. Bang, bang play. That's what a great play from Ferreira coming off the mound. So another sack bunt. And just another plate appearance. Henry Wecker. They're going to walk him again. Boy, is this the first inning or is this the third inning? Carbon copy. Goodness gracious. That's amazing. Well, let's see if Grocky decides to bunt here. I've never seen anything like this, Gary.
If
It's
he
eerie.
does, I think we just pack up and just rewind the first three innings about 3
Well,
times.
if he does, then I'm just going to expect a 2-run single from Zajac up the middle when he comes up. Yeah, look, Grocky's getting ready to square. He's not hiding it. And now timeout, doesn't get it. Pulls it back, strike one. I think that would have been a called strike regardless. Unbelievable. I mean, there's deja vu, and then there's this. What would be a real kicker here, though, is if Coach Kane says, good, you drew them in now because you weren't messing around. You're showing, but now if he swings away and cashes in, like that, base hit to left field, they're going to send the runner. Nope, deciding to hold him. A wise decision. A rip to left field. Line drive. Base hit for Grocky, letting the cleanup hitter swing away. Bases loaded. One down for Zajac, who has the 2 RBI for the Warriors in the game. If the Warriors have a big inning here, how big is the base running error by Saunders in the top half of this inning? The Hilltoppers had something going. First pitch strike there from Ferreira, getting ahead of Zajac, 0-1. Upstairs for a ball. Perry playing in, Souza guarding the line playing in. There is a lot of room on the left side of the infield. Arrieta playing more towards center, so almost a kind of a mini shift if Zajac goes the other way. Now ahead in the count, 2-1. Might just sit back and get a free pass. I have to say, too, Gary, one of the more interesting decisions, I thought for sure we'd see Tommy Lambert starting this game. That is driven to left. It's going to hang up for Lambert, who now throwing home. Good throw, and the tag is not going to get there. And to third safely is Grocky. My bad, Wecker. So Chofie scores on the sac fly. But you know what? With one down, I think you trade that out for the run. Or trade that run for the out, if you will. So that's not the worst thing in the world. But Zajac, an RBI machine so far today. All 3 credited to him. Blasco will step in. He flew out to center to end the first inning. Durfee not out of trouble just yet. Runners at the corners with 2 down. It's a big spot here for Ferreira if he can get out of this with just the 1 run allowed. Slipping was Grocky trying to get back to first, kind of took a secondary lead and almost went down to the ground. I think Zach might have had him at first. But you got to be careful, when you get that runner at third too, force a run down and get that other run in. Ooh, that was close. That was really close. Blasco. Check on him again, and even closer that time. That last call had a couple of the fans chirping from the Durfee side. Faking the bunt downstairs for a ball. That one down and away too. Same spot, close pitches. Not going Ferreira's way. And that's a ball too. That was called for being up, which not sure if belt high is up anymore, but apparently it is today. Rather close pitch. So bases reloaded as Blasco gets the free pass on a pitch that could have gone either way. Holt Fletcher was thrown out on a bunt attempt in the second. Steps in with the bases reloaded. And a strike called. And strike two. Almost the same spot as the ball two and ball three calls from the last hitter. Ferreira in control, 0-2. Nice block from Souza behind the plate. Keep that ball in front of him. Again, Ferreira trying to limit the damage. If he can get out of this with just the one run allowed, that would be a huge win for the Hilltoppers. Fouled off himself. As Fletcher will just kind of take a little walk for a moment. Steps back in, 1-2 the count. Wecker at third, Grocky at second, Blasco at first. Here's the pitch. Driven deep to left field. Back and gone! A grand slam! And another walk. One that was very borderline comes back to hurt the Hilltoppers.
That one sounded like a grand slam as soon as it left the bat.
Oh, yeah, tomahawked it. There was no doubt it was going to the corner. It's just whether it was going to stay fair. But again, pitches that were called strikes to Holt Fletcher were not called strikes to Colin Blasco, and that's where you can get frustrated as a player and as a coach, is trying to figure out the consistency behind home plate, because some of those pitches to Fletcher were in the same spot that they weren't called as strikes to Blasco. So makes you wonder what our man in blue was kind of looking at. But a grand slam. And just like that, it is a 7-1 game. Jay Driver at the plate, lined out to third in the second. That great play from Souza, and now pops it up. Souza will run over as Zach does, and so does Lucas. It's going to go out of play. Here's another stat for you.
Oh, I like these.
Yeah, I know you do. 5 walks have been issued. 2 were intentional. All 5 have crossed the plate. You can't give a team base runners. And again, that hurt Durfee last year in this same matchup. And see, that was a strike to Fletcher. So where are we at, Blue? Slice foul going way out of play into the trees.
Isn't your car parked up there?
Thanks, Gary.
Sorry.
That's nice, yeah. My car's not that close. If they hit my car, then they shouldn't be playing high school ball because my car's way up the hill. Grounder to short, Arrieta fields it. Tough throw to first. Dug out by Perry. Really nice play on the other end there. But a monster inning for Wellesley. A 5 spot. And they are ahead 7-1. Zach Souza will lead off the top of the 4th inning, but the Hilltoppers in a much different situation than they were just moments ago. Now trailing by 6 runs in a sudden death playoff game as we're just about halfway through this 7-inning affair. We'll see the middle of the Hilltoppers order. Zach Souza, the cleanup hitter, Dumont on deck, and Lucas Souza to follow. And Lucas Souza is actually warming up in the bullpen off to our right. So it does not appear that we're going to see Tommy Lambert in this one, which is shocking to me. Tommy in left field. He got the nod in the South semis last year, and he's been their ace. So rather surprising to not see him warming up at the moment. That one downstairs. Souza lays off.
I think at this point it's too early to think about bringing him in. You've got to start chipping away at this deficit.
Yeah, no more base running blunders, too. Had too many of them. Nice scoop by Lieberman. Going to throw out Souza at first. Really nice play there on the in-between hop. There's one down. Remy Dumont will come to the plate, doubled, and scored the Hilltoppers' lone run. That was in the 2nd inning. So he's 1 for 1. Remy put a really good swing on the ball last time, taking it the opposite way. Another pitch grabbing that inside corner, called a strike for Driver. So he's ahead 0-1. And that one diving down 0-2 quickly to Dumont. That's strike 3, and that was pretty far inside when you compare to the pitches that were framed by Souza last inning. 4th K for Driver, who's getting the calls today. That pitch was inside.
If you start working inside right from the get-go, or if you're working on the outside, that umpire can start the same. All right, starting to look like a strike more and more every time he pitches it.
Right down the pike there for strike one as Lucas Souza made his way back from the bullpen mound to step in here for his second at-bat. Grounded a short last time, that one inside.
That's got to be tough. You're in the bullpen. All right.
Yeah, come on, hit. Pull the string there on the curveball, and it's 1-2. And Driver looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. Tommy Lambert is on deck. Upstairs, no dice, 2-2. And he got him.
That was exactly the type of inning Wellesley wanted, needed. Last thing Durfee could possibly want.
Absolutely. Back-to-back Ks. Driver in command in that fourth inning. 1-2-3 through the heart of the Hilltoppers order. So officially now halfway through the ball game. We'll turn the card over. Wellesley expecting 9, 1, and 2. They sent 8 to the plate in that third inning. I wish they got 5 runs. And it looks like Ferreira is going to stay out and pitch, though. So Souza not coming in at the moment in relief. He did not have much time to warm up, though, before his at-bat. So he was just maybe just tossing to start getting loose. He could come in the 5th, perhaps. But looks like it's Ferreira's game at the moment. So we'll see Lieberman. Lieberman will lead things off for the Warriors. He struck out looking, the only strikeout for Ferreira. And that was back in there in the 1-2-3 second inning for Ferreira. Ferreira takes the hill. Is it just me, Gary? Does that pitcher's mound look a little low? I mean, we know that Chew Park, it's like 3 feet off the ground. But doesn't that seem just a little bit flat to you compared to the normal pitcher's mound?
I'm looking through the viewfinder mostly, but yeah, it does kind of look a little.
I mean, isn't it supposed to be 6 inches off the ground? I think that's the Major League specs. And if so, I mean, it probably is. Another bunt from the Warriors, this time out of play, foul. Maybe it's just the illusion. We're so used to Chew Park. Again, that mound is well over a foot.
Yeah, everybody looks like Randy Johnson pitching on that thing.
Yeah. Even at Skip Lewis Field, though, too, I think that mound's a little higher. It just looks very flat from this angle. Chopper to third. Souza's there. Throw across the diamond is in time. He got down to tag the base and the runner. A little bit of a wild throw there. Lieberman 0 for 2 after the ground out. You know, it could be, too, that, you know, I'm sitting here. The ground goes back, so I'm sitting kind of low to the ground, and the field's kind of rising to a pitch. So maybe I'm seeing it at a kind of a weird angle, too, that makes it look a little flatter than it is.
Yeah, we are.
You know.
We're on an incline here.
That one going foul into the tennis courts and out of the tennis courts on the bounce and into the woods.
Was it in or out?
It bounced in, bounced out, and then into the woods.
15 love.
There you go.
Showing that bunt again.
I know. I can't even believe it. And you know, to be honest with you, at this point now, you're up by 6 runs. There's no reason to be bunting for hits. Swing the bat. That's a foul ball. It's kind of one of those like unwritten rules in terms of, now you just hit a grand slam. You're up 7-1, and you're halfway through it on your home field. So there's no reason to be dropping bunts down for base runners. Ferreira got one in his favor there. Strike 3 called as Cholfi went down on strikes. Second strikeout for Ferreira. Both have been called third strikes. And now Matt Maiona will step in with 2 down, nobody on. So your first official at bat for Cholfi is a strikeout. 2 plate appearances, 2 walks before that, and 2 runs scored. But that time, the strikeout. So now officially 0 for 1. Strike on the inside corner. See, that wasn't a strike last inning. So this is where, again, you kind of can get frustrated. Even as just a viewer, I'm sitting here just watching the game and calling what I'm seeing. And to me, that was a strike last inning. So, and another bunt. That one's going to roll foul. No, they play it to fair ball, and Souza holds on to it. Thought it was going to roll foul.
Looked like it looked like it was on its way to hitting the bag. So I think Souza had made the right play, but it took forever to get down there.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's a great bunt. But, I mean, so now Maiona, 3 plate appearances, 1 for 1 with 3 bunts, 2 sacrifice and 1 for a hit.
No intentional walk here.
No, not this time. It hasn't panned out for Durfee, so I'm kind of surprised. They don't want an intentional walk anymore, I would say. The walks have hurt the Hilltoppers this afternoon. Think of it this way. If Blasco doesn't walk, good chance Fletcher doesn't come up and hit that grand slam. You're looking at a 2-run game, or a 3-run game. Again,
all the walks have come across the plate.
Basically, that's a wild pitch, and the runner takes second. In the first inning, 2 walks came home to score. In the third inning, 3 of the runs the hitters had walked. So 7 runs, 5 have gotten on base via a free pass, whether intentional or not. That's hooked to the right side. Oh, in and out of the glove of Ladera. He had a good snag there. Couldn't hold on to it. Another infield hit. See, and then that's the next thing. I mean, credit Wellesley for swinging away, but I mean, we've seen bunt singles, infield singles, little choppers. I mean, the only legitimate hits that I've seen were Grocky's line drive in third and then the home run. Everything else has been kind of garbage. And in Durfee, kind of the same thing. I mean, we haven't really seen many clean hits today. And just like that, what was 2 quick outs. Now men at the corners for Grocky. On the wild pitch and taken off for second base, and getting there is Wecker. Should have walked him. So 2 in scoring position now for Grocky. They're going to walk Grocky now. That's the question. Zajac has 3 of the RBI. I don't think they want him coming up with the bases loaded. Strike 1. Both teams on a mission here in these playoffs. Hilltoppers are looking for revenge today. And that's hit to left center and in for a 2-run single for Grocky. And it's 9-1. And it's probably time to get Ferreira out of there. I was just about to say, Durfee looking for revenge from last year's loss. And meanwhile, Wellesley, with a very similar-looking team, with unfinished business, considering they made it all the way to the final game, the state finals, lost 5-1 to Taconic, or Taconic, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, from out west, Western Mass. And
so we have Metro West, Central, then West?
No, we have North, South, West, and Central. So we're in the South.
I'm talking about geographically speaking in terms of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I said, is this Central Mass? You said it's Metro West.
Yeah, this is Metro West. Western Mass would be like Springfield and further out. Central would be like the Worcester area, Lunenburg, Leominster, Fitchburg, Shrewsbury. And then north is anything north of Boston, south, anything south of Boston. So that
I know where I live. That's
I know.
Fall River.
Exactly. Exactly. South of Boston.
Sorry about that, Evan. What were you saying?
That's all right. No, I'm explaining. No, so seriously, basically we don't have an East Division because once you get to Rhode Island, Massachusetts becomes very thin state. So the North and South teams Boston's kind of like the middle. If you're north of Boston, you're in the North Division. If you're south of Boston, you're in the South Division. Then there's Central, which covers, anywhere west of like where we are now, Metro West. Anything west of that to almost Springfield area, that's Central. And then Springfield and points west is West. So Central and West square off typically, and then you see North and South squaring off typically. And then the winners of those two from the semis go to the final game. So last year we had these guys, Wellesley and then Taconic, South versus West, and West ended up winning. So for Wellesley, they have unfinished business. They want to get back to that state finals and win it all. Just a few runs shy of doing so. And of course, Durfee was looking for revenge, but down by 8 runs, with the lead continuing to grow here for Wellesley, not looking promising here for the Hilltoppers. Going to need a miracle down the stretch here. These bats are going to have to come alive like they never have if they intend on getting this to maybe extra innings or at least tying it up for the time being. They have a lot of work to do as the Wellesley Warriors just continue to push runs across in clutch situations as well. Mind you, the grand slam was with 2 outs. This hit from Grocky with 2 outs. The 2-run single in the first was with 2 outs. So let that sit in as well. That's an important note as well. So 8 of the 9 runs for the Warriors have come with 2 down in the inning. Max Zajac has 3 of those RBI. Looks at ball down below. Ahead in the count. Grocky at first. Sent to center, Saunders ranging over. And he makes the play for out number 3. And that out goes to Lucas Souza, who came on there. That's why we had that break for the pitching change. Ferreira is now at third base. After 4 full innings, the Warriors lead at 9-1 over the Hilltoppers. High school sports provide an extension of the classroom where students learn to pursue excellence, the value of working with others toward a common goal, playing within the structure of established rules, discipline, loyalty, and emotional control. The MIAA urges you to demonstrate your support for these values and for our young people by attending high school competitions in your community. Top of the 5th, underway here from the Sprague Fields in Wellesley, Mass., home of the Warriors. Durfee trailing 9-1. Evan Massoud and Gary Leet with you on Fred TV for the South D1 quarterfinal matchup. A rematch of last year's South semis that went to Wellesley, and this one looking like it will go to Wellesley again. Hilltoppers starter Ethan Ferreira chased from the game after 3 2/3 innings, giving up 6 hits and 9 runs, and walking 5. Again, 2 were intentional. Striking out 2. Yes, 2. So a tough day for Ferreira on the hill. He's at third now. Lucas Souza is on the mound, or did finish the 4th inning. We'll see if he comes back out for the 5th inning. Swung on a miss. Lambert down on strikes. Not happy about it. 3 straight Ks. 3 straight Ks for Driver, 6 in all. And that brings in Curtis Perry. And Curtis struck out in the 2nd inning. That was his first at-bat. He's 0 for 1. Grounder foul. And that one inside for ball. Reaching out, swatting it foul, out of play. Down in the dirt. Perry holding up there. Full count. That one chops foul, and Coach Olmschneider getting the footwork in down the third base line. Perry putting on a good at-bat here. Stay hanging tough. Work the count full. And here's the payoff from Driver again. That one upstairs and off the nub of the bat. That's a foul ball.
Yeah, the only way you could tell that didn't hit him is that he didn't scream.
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
And
right actually, you could hear it too. You could hear it off the bat. That one hit to the right side. Mayona ranges and throws him out for out number 2. And now Ferreira will come to bat. Popped out to first base in his first at-bat. Takes a look at strike 1. Fastball inside. Driven in the air to right. Wecker backing up underneath it for out number 3. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings for Jay Driver. 6 in a row retired as he is settled in with his lead. And we will see Lucas Souza return to the mound in relief for the 5th inning. We want to look at Driver's stats so far. 4 hits, 1 run, 6 Ks, and no walks. Not a bad line.
No, I thought at the beginning of the game they might have gotten to him when he was working out of the stretch. He had those 2 wild pitches.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't had to work out of the stretch since then.
Yeah, exactly. Let me take a peek here at the bracket. If Wellesley does hold on to this one, they will play the winner of Brockton or Xaverian, 2 really good teams. Xaverian, the number 7 seed at 12-8. Brockton at 16-4, the number 2 seed. Actually, had the same record as Plymouth North, who was the number 1 seed, so there had to be a tiebreaker there somewhere. Brockton got the 2 seed, and actually up a win for each of those for winning their first round. So Xaverian 13-8, Brockton 17-4. And they're facing off at Campanelli Stadium at this time while we're here in Wellesley. So if Wellesley holds on, they will face the winner of that one. That should be a pretty good game. I bet that's a really good game going down in Brockton right now. The Xaverian's one of those teams that's good kind of across the board.
Yep.
You know, and Brockton's, again, had a good team this year, so. All righty here, 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Colin Blasco will lead it off. Looks at ball 1 upstairs. He is 0 for 1 with a flyout, a walk, and a run scored. He scored on that grand slam from Fletcher. There's a strike called, 1-1. That one not breaking down enough, kind of sailing up there to the batter's box and to the plate. So 2-1. That's driven well to center. Saunders heading back, running out of room. Is he there in time to make the catch? He did. In the shade, in the shadow. Nice play there from Saunders. About maybe went as far as he probably could. That ball was hit well and traveled well to center from Blasco. Holt Fletcher steps in 1 for 2 with the grand slam. That really changed the look of this game. Take strike 2. And he was showing bunt again too, Gary. That's drilled to center. Saunders going to have that one fall well in front of him. I think Matt was playing back a little bit, especially after the home run last time. So single for Holt Fletcher. And that brings up Jay Driver, who's 0 for 2, the pitcher. Lined out to left. And a ground out to short. And now batting here with 1 down and a man at first. And a good cut for strike 1. There you go, Gary. He's wearing the commitment jersey.
Ah.
That's another one. Did we see Pride? I'm sure Pride is going to be on there. Wave and a miss. That's a wild throw from Souza. Stolen base for Fletcher.
I do like the respect that their uniforms give to our servicemen and women.
Yeah.
But it is a little, every time I see them, The first thing I think of is, oh, look at that guy's name is Duty.
Yeah.
Or Courage.
Yeah, it's deceiving, because that's typically where the names go.
But it must, do you think there are any doubles? Duplicates on the team?
That's a good question. Is it to Ferreira? Slings it across the diamond. They get the tag for the out. Nice job. Perry has played a solid first base today. He has looked good over there. He's had to really either go up the ladder or arrange to his left or right. He picked one out in the dirt as well. He has been solid at first for the Hilltoppers. Nice play there to bail out another infielder. And now Tommy Lieberman will step in 0 for 2. A ground out to third and a strikeout. The ground out coming in his last at-bat. Thought about another bunt. I'll tell you, these guys are not afraid to play small ball and try to DQ or, I mean, it really makes you think, I'm sure, as a fielder, it gets in your head, is he going to swing or is he going to bunt? As we've seen them pull it back a couple times and then swing away. That Grocky did that back in the third. That's popped up. I lost it. It's in the field of play. And Ferreira squeezes the glove on it. 4 out, number 3. So the Hilltoppers don't allow a run for the first time in 2 innings, but they still trail 9-1 after 5. Top of the lineup coming up for the Hilltoppers here in the top of the 6th as Matt Saunders will lead it off, get his 3rd at-bat of the game. Reached on a single and then was thrown out on a 7-6 double play to end that 3rd inning. He struck out in the 1st. And you hope for the Hilltoppers' sake, at least maybe they can put a little rally together and just chip away a little bit. A 9-1 game is really lopsided. The driver's been in control, facing the minimum over the last 3 innings. Saunders trying to get down the line, but cannot. And he is out, number 1 of the 6th. And that'll bring up Brett Fonseca, who's 0 for 2. A fly out to left field and a strikeout looking. Ball down low. Talking about Wellesley's jerseys, the catcher here, Holt Fletcher, his says Freedom, so that's another one. We've seen Duty, we saw Honor.
I saw Courage, I think.
Okay.
So that's Freedom?
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder if, like I said, I wonder if Pride is one of them as well. Seems only logical, and it would fit for what they're trying to do.
Honor?
Yeah, that was another one. Swung on and missed. Tell you, drivers had Fonseca off balance with these breaking balls, particularly over these last 2 at-bats. That one ripped to third on the ground. Lieberman with the scoop and the throw across the diamond for out number 2. And driver is in full command, 4 outs away from advancing to the South semis with his Warriors. Nate Ladera will step in 1 for 2 with an infield single in the 1st and then a line out to left field in the 3rd. Ball 1 outside. That one just missing 2. 2-0. That one a little closer than the first pitch. Zach Souza on deck, hoping to get a chance with a base runner, but hasn't really happened. That one slapped foul. Other results from Fall River playoff teams. Diamond, both the baseball and softball teams lost in the first round. There's a strike. Diamond softball went to Falmouth. And they lost pretty big on the road. That one driven to left field, and it could be trouble. It is down into the corner, and it'll be a double for Nate Ladera.
There's only one way to start a rally.
Seriously. So Souza's going to get a chance with a base runner here. So results, as I was saying. Pulling up our Fred TV Sports post here. So yes, Diamond Baseball hosted Dennis Yarmouth. They had the Bengals actually, baseball-wise, had such a good year. They got to host a first-round game. They lost 7-3, and then softball lost 9-5 on the road. And I mean those Cape Cod teams too. They're another bunch that are just always so tough. I don't know what they eat down on Cape Cod, but maybe it's all the seafood. I don't know, but the Cape Cod teams are always so tough. Another wild pitch. And Ladera moves over. That's the third wild pitch of the afternoon for Driver. And
coming from the stretch.
Yeah, again, coming from the stretch. Now he gets to go to the windup with the guy at third. Place he's been much more comfortable. So Souza hoping for a base hit here, at least get another run across for Durfee. Try to keep the inning going. Remy Dumont on deck, hopeful to get a chance this inning. That's a strike right down the pike. That is hit very deep to left, but very foul. Full count to Souza. That's hit in the air to center, kind of towards the end of the bat, but still carrying. Ranging back is Cholfi for the out, and the Hilltoppers strand another runner. I should say another, there haven't been many. But they do strand the runner at third as Souza flies out to deep center field. 0 for 3 is Zach here, and a lot of 0-fers up and down the Durfee lineup as base runners and hits been hard to come by thanks to the great pitching of Jay Driver this afternoon. Again, to your point, Gary, I think they had a good chance to get to him early and had some base running blunders and some kind of mental errors that really allowed him to just take command and take charge of the game.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Early on in the game, changed, I don't know if it was the Saunders misread, on the base paths, I don't know. But it just took one little blunder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt was thrown out to end the top of the third, and then you go to the bottom of the third, 5-run inning, just like that. Not going to say it's pretty much over, but just like that, things happened and changed very quickly. And for Durfee, the hit from Ladera was the first hit the Hilltoppers had gotten since Saunders' infield single to lead off the third. So that tells the story right there at how well Driver is pitched in the middle innings of this game. And the last hit to leave the infield, actually the only hit to leave the infield for Durfee, was Dumont's double, and that's when he came around and scored. That was to lead off the second inning. So, I mean, it's been a long day at the plate for the Hilltoppers.
So that hit that Saunders ended up getting doubled up on was the last hit until this past half inning.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes.
Oh, yeah. So that was basically 10 batters in a row retired. That's quite the run right there for Driver. And in a 7-inning game, 10 batters that's half your game. You know. Souza fires down to second. And we're going to see the top of the lineup once again for the Warriors. Third time at the plate for John Cholfie. 0 for 1 with 2 walks and 2 runs scored. Struck out last time. And Souza on the mound in what will most likely be his last inning of work. Strike 2, kind of a high strike call there.
Do you think we're getting some of the let's get out of here calls here by the?
Yeah, it's possible. This game is over an hour and a half long. Ferreira, another nice ranging play, another high throw, but Perry with the height. I'll tell you, that's one thing. Credit the umpire in the field this afternoon as well. He's made all these bang-bang plays at first, and he's been right on top of the plays for both sides. Seen a lot of ground ball out, so to the left side of the infield, to third in particular in this one. Twice, Durfee's grounded out to third 3 times in the last 3 innings, or 2+ innings. The Warriors have grounded out to third. So there's been a lot of action down that way. Let's not forget Souza's diving play that he made as well. So third base has been busy, to say the least. And the bunts as well, going almost all down towards third or to the mound. So the left side of the infield has been the place to be if you like fielding. Iona takes the ball down low. 2-1 the count after that one missed. And that one upstairs. Foul tip off of Souza. And our umpire going to give Zach a moment to reset. Count is full. We'll have the payoff pitch from Souza momentarily. Strike 3. Souza picks up his first K. Durfee as a squad, as a pitching staff, has now 3 strikeouts. All 3 have been called third strikes. And now Henry Wecker. Wecker's been on all 3 times he's come to the plate. 2 intentional walks, 1 infield single, and he has scored 3 times. In other words, don't put him on. He's going to score. The 2 intentional walks early on have come back to bite Durfee when they put Wecker on with first base open. That one missing for a ball. Foul tipped into the mitt.
So with high school sports season closing up, Evan, what's on tap for Fred TV Sports over the summer?
Well, my sports report that I did pretty much weekly over the last few years, that's coming back. So that'll be, we haven't nailed down the time, so we want you to check back to our Fred TV Sports Facebook page, as we'll have info on that in the coming days, weeks. But I believe we're going to probably go with the Friday 7:30 time frame as we have the last few years. Seems to work, kind of wraps up the work week. And features everything that we've had in terms of sports in the city over that span, over the week. And we close out the week. Strike three called. Backdoor breaking ball from Souza. Looking good in relief. Through 6-0. 9-1 the score. It remains. Hilltoppers down by 8. Top of the 7th. Last chance for the Hilltoppers to make any noise here offensively, and there hasn't been much of it. It's been an amazing pitching performance from Jay Driver, who's done after 6 innings on the hill. Surrendering 7 hits. Nope, that's the wrong line. My bad. Surrendering 5 hits. Just the 1 run. Striking out 6. And on in relief to close it out is Jacob Wagner for the Warriors. Remy Dumont looks at 2 pitches up and in. That one sending him down to the ground. Ball 3. And a 3-0 hitters count for Dumont, the leadoff man here in the 7th. Ball 4. 4 straight out of the zone. And I'll tell you one thing. If you're Lucas Souza, you keep that bat on your shoulder until you see a strike. At least that's what I was always taught. I didn't play. I'm just saying that's what I was taught. New pitcher hasn't found the strike zone yet. You don't give him anything. You wait, especially being down by 8 runs. Look at that. That's ball 5 and a wild pitch. Should have left Driver in there for crying out loud. And now a quick mound meeting. So Dumont at second. Souza ahead in the count 1-0.
This kind of start to a new pitcher in the game's kind of
makes a coach uneasy.
A little bit,
well,
I would think.
Luckily, they're up by 8. So for the Warriors, not a ton to worry about at the moment, I would say. We'll see how the inning progresses. We're talking about summer sports. We do have Legion ball on tap, and unfortunately, some kind of bad news about Legion is that Fall River, as that misses low for ball 6, Fall River will not have a senior Legion team this year. And it's unfortunate.
They're merging with Somerset, is that correct?
They are. Coach Elmschneider here of the Hilltoppers leads the Somerset team. And initially, ball 7, 3-0. Initially, the plan was that the assistant coach for Durfee, Jay Martin, who any of our viewers who've watched my reports over the summer know he was on the Royals for Fribble for years. Jay was going to lead the Fall River Post 464. But evidently there were not enough players that came out. Ball 8, 4th pitch walk to Souza. 8 straight missing from the strike zone. And that's after Driver did not surrender 1 walk in 6. Brings up Tommy Lambert. So basically, from what I'm told, there were not enough players that came out for Fall River's Legion team. Part of it, I think, stems from that if a coach is willing to have you play on their team, players from Durfee, for example, are not restricted to have to play to Fall River. Desmond Sanders, for example, one of our Fred TV alums, did some broadcasting with me a couple years ago. He went to Durfee. He played on the football team, played on the baseball team, but he went and played for Westport for Legion. So you're not tied down to your city's team per se. Whatever high school, wherever your high school was, you're not tied down to that team when it comes to Legion. If the other team, the other town's coach or whatever is willing to have you in or on their team. So, what that said, not enough kids for Fall River. And as a result, that one is ball one, 9 straight. As a result, any of the Fall River kids, which were all Durfee players, are going to merge with Somerset. And to be honest with you, I think that's going to be a pretty darn good team. Somerset has a good team. And Durfee, despite today's blowout, this Hilltoppers team has a lot of talent on it as well. So I'm disappointed that we won't have baseball at Shoe Park this year, but very much excited about the prospect of Fall River and Somerset merging. That's a foul ball, and that would have been ball 10. So I'm kind of surprised to even see the bunt at this point, considering that would have been another one out of the zone. Tommy should keep that bat on his shoulders. Now the pitcher has life, has his first strike, and he didn't really earn it. Of course, these hitters, and he swings away, pops it up, and there is out number 1. I mean, I'm going to be critical because we're down by 8. Durfee's down by 8, but not, in my opinion, the best game plan at the plate there for Tommy.
I think he looked really frustrated after his last at-bat. He struck out swinging.
Yes, he did. And yes, he was. But, you know, at this point, you get the bases loaded with nobody out. A walk is just as good as a hit. So you leave the bat on your shoulders and make the pitcher throw you a strike. And Perry should do the same thing. That's a low strike call right there. That's a gift. Just the second strike of an inning. That one came with a bow tie on it. So needless to say, Legion will be Somerset this year, and I will make it a priority to get across the bridge and get some highlights from Somerset. And, of course, a number of stories. We're going to hit some of our staples that we do every year. For example, the Hilltopper Basketball Camp, Hilltopper Golf Classic, which is back in Fall River this year. Thank the Lord. Nothing against Allendale Country Club, nice country club, but, I mean, Dartmouth has nothing to do with Durfee. So it belongs in Fall River, and Missy Panchley, who's chairing it this year, she told me a couple of weeks ago that it is going to be back in Fall River. So I'm very happy about that. What else would we have? River City Baseball Camp, of course. The Soapbox Derby from North Park. They're changing the course a little bit. That's Grace Girling and Recreation, putting that on again. That's become a big hit during the summer. So we're going to see some familiar sights. But always the stories are always a little different, which is nice because you get to see different kids and different people participating in the camps and tournaments and so on and so forth. So you can look for that stuff. And I'm assuming I actually we've had a lot going on here. We're trying to wrap up spring before we turn our attention fully to summer. So I will be checking to see if we're going to have another Grand Prix on the Taunton River with the speedboats, which has just been so cool the last couple of years. That pitch up and in was a ball a few innings ago. It's a strike here in the 7th.
So plenty to do, plenty to see.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. You're right. Plenty to do and plenty to see. The city always has a lot going on in the summer, and particularly for the kids who are out on summer vacation. And it can help because, number one, it keeps the kids doing stuff, but number two, it can also help out the parents. Some of these camps and stuff for the working parents who don't get the summers off. They know that their kids are somewhere safe and doing something constructive and active and fun. So got a good lineup on tap, a bunch of different things. And so, again, Fred TV Sports Report coming back to Channel 9 for the summer. And, again, like and follow our Fred TV Sports Facebook page, as I will have official air times for our new episodes shortly on that page. Again, just want to we're confirming a few things with our summer programming schedule, so that is not something that was totally hammered out just yet. So we'll have that info for you soon. Thrown to center field on the pickoff attempt. No dice, no one moving in. As Ethan Ferreira, today's starter, is in there 0 for 2. And there's 2 down here in the 7th, 1 out away from this one ending. And Wellesley moving on to the South Semis for the 2nd consecutive year and moving on at the hands of Durfee. And last year's game was much more exciting, I would say, Gary. You were there. This game became a runaway, and Wellesley was really in control from that 3rd inning on.
Allergies were a lot better last year as well.
What a trooper. What a trooper.
This is where we're at here is just huge open fields.
Yeah, this is a beautiful park. Well, that one missing for a ball. This is really, and this is public. This is not like gated. This is open park. And
I wasn't sure if this was like part of the high school / middle school.
I think, well, I mean, there's no gate. It's not like the Durfee facilities that are gated. I mean, anybody can come in here. So from what I'm seeing, this is public. It's the Sprague Fields. The high school is actually maybe about a half a mile to a mile down the road. Again, you're right. The middle school just up the hill. We're kind of parked in one of the middle school lots, but the high school down the street a bit. But just a nice, really nice facility here in Wellesley. Haven't been up this way, so that's ball 4. So Ferreira reaching for the first time this afternoon. All the runners moving up 90 feet, and Matt Saunders coming up with 2 down. And the bases loaded. Hilltoppers have not had the bases loaded all day. Nice pitch to drop in for strike 1. Kind of a slide piece, back door. That one on the ground to the left side, ranging over in a high throw and tag, and the ball game comes to a close as Saunders grounds out to third. To end it, they strand the bases loaded in the end. Hilltoppers trying to make a little bit of noise, but could not do so today, thanks to the pitching of Jay Driver. And Durfee's season comes to a close after a very tough game here on the road.
A little disappointing, Evan. You'll look back at this tape, and I completely missed that final out, but I didn't want to see it end, so and I'm sure our viewers didn't either. So,
well, you know, it's one of those. There were a lot of seniors again on this Durfee squad, and it's a team that, you know, there were again a lot of, I'd say, inconsistencies. It seems like that's something that a lot of the teams at Durfee tend to fight with, and I don't think I shouldn't just say Durfee. I don't think it's just Durfee either. You know, a lot of high school teams, unless they're upper echelon, they tend to be inconsistent, and that's you know, part of it. You know, a lot of times you still have players even, you know, still learning the game. You know, even upperclassmen in high school, and this team, I would say, was plagued by an inconsistency bug. Now, did the weather situation that we had this year in this spring, all the rain and stuff, help? No, not at all. I mean, we had weeks where these guys played 5 games in a week, which is just nuts. That's not how it should be. And sometimes you just have a choice. In fact, to put it in perspective, the season was actually extended a week by the MIAA because of the weather this year. Last year, the South Semis was the day before graduation. We've already had graduation, and this is just the quarterfinal round. So that kind of shows you where things are at schedule-wise. I mean, Legion hasn't started. We're in the middle of June, June 11th, and Legion has not started yet because of high school playoffs. So, I mean, that helps me. Legion's going to probably go to August this year. But bottom line is that this team dealt with a lot of adversity, a lot of problems, starting the season on the road, just because of Skip Lewis Field and the drainage. Had, I don't know, innumerable postponements and weather dates. So, I mean, it wasn't an easy season for Durfee. They got into the playoffs by overall record, which is kind of doing it the hard way. I mean, if you win the league, you only got to win 3 or 4 games. Sometimes you can tie 2-2. But they did it the hard way. They won it by overall record, 11-9 they got in. And the upset against Taunton, but this one here today, definitely not the way the Hilltoppers wanted it to go, especially after last season's game was such a big game. I think a great game. I think everybody kind of expected this one to be like last year, and it didn't really turn out that way. It was kind of underwhelming in a way.
Yeah, always. And, this is my second year at Durfee, and getting to know a lot of these kids, the seniors, it's always difficult. You see them walk across the stage.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, boy. And you see them down here. You saw Tommy Lambert get vocal after a strikeout. Zach Souza's gone. Hopefully, we'll see them in Legion Ball.
As far as I know Zach is planning to play. I don't know about Tommy. I didn't get to ask him, but Zach is planning to play as far as I know. So we'll see Zach. A number of these other guys will be playing Legion. And, and Zach is one who's staying local because he's going to UMass Dartmouth, so he's going to be playing some college ball down the road. So he's not going too far away. So I'm sure we'll see him in the future along with some of these other guys as well. But this is a big senior class, so this one hurts for Durfee because a big core group of guys will not be back for 2019.
So have an official send-off for the end of spring sports?
It is the official send-off. All our Fall River teams are down and out. So that's it. The book closes here in Wellesley on Spring Sports 2018 on Fred TV. As always, it wraps up the school year for spring sports as well for us. So this is really the end for the school year. So on behalf of all the crews that we've had, all the student crews, staff crews, Gary coming on the road with me, et cetera, I want to thank everyone who's participated and helped us out with broadcasts this year on Fred TV. We've done a lot of them, and we've had a lot of different crews, different people on the air. Greg Sullivan from the Herald News even joining me for a couple games. It's been really a lot of fun this year doing sports, and we'll look forward to next year. By the time the summer's done, I'll be sick of baseball and be really looking forward to football. So, as I'm sure a lot of people will be. So, for school year 2017-18 and Spring Sports 2018, we sign off from Wellesley on Fred TV. Evan Massoud saying so long till summertime.